everyone, this is Emily Leiphart here for Tailored Expressions, and in today's video I'm creating 3 cards with the Modern Eucalyptus card making kit. Let's start with a look at all of the kit ingredients. First up are the Modern Eucalyptus layering stencils. If you're a fan of the Create and Quad stencils or any other layering stencils, you'll love this set just as much. I would liken this to a quarter of the Create and Quad stencils. You're getting 4 numbered stencils for beautifully layered eucalyptus leaves. These stencils come with coordinating dies, and you can use these together, one large and one small, or mix and match 2 large ones and 2 little ones. I hadn't thought of that until the end of my creative process with this kit, but it's definitely an idea that I plan on going back to. Also included are 12 pre-printed eucalyptus leaves with various shaped frames. These are gorgeous foilet patterns that are meant to be used with the Minc and Deco foil. They're also sized to fit perfectly with the Modern Eucalyptus layering stencils. Of course, if you don't have a foiling machine, you can use these as is in black, and they look beautiful that way too. No card making kit is complete without a fabulous sentiment set, and the scripted sentiments offer the perfect mix of both summertime and year-round sentiments. Please note that the gemstone thin frame cutting plate is not included in this kit, but is offered as an add-on. These frames are meant to be layered and flipped 180 degrees to create a gemstone look. As always, you get 6 envelope seals, and these feature tiny versions of the stenciled eucalyptus leaves around the gemstone frames. The 6 envelopes are in Gold Shimmer, Sweet Basil, and Avocado. The ink colors I've chosen for my cards are 2 of the new colors, Rose Water and Tropical Punch, plus Avocado and Saltwater Taffy. The first thing I'm going to do is foil 1 each of all 4 of the foilet patterns. Since these are printed on cardstock, I'm going to heat my mini Minc to the number 4 setting. It heats up very fast, and I just cut a sheet of champagne deco foil, place it inside the transfer folder, and run it through. The results are so gorgeous, and I can't believe I didn't own a Minc machine until recently. Look at all these foiled prints. They're amazing, even without color, so you can imagine how they'll look when stenciled and stamped. Starting with my mini stencil mat, I've tucked an A2 panel into the corner and placed the first eucalyptus stencil on top. This one features the branch part, so I decided to start with Avocado ink. I'm using the bitty blender brushes since these are small areas. For the second stencil, I switched to Tropical Punch, then Saltwater Taffy for the second layer, and finally Rose Water to finish. Now I'm going to switch up the order of these colors to show you how different that looks. When comparing the 2 side by side, you can see what a difference the order makes. One is definitely softer and the other more intense, just by rotating the colors. You can also see the way the inks overlap with each other, and I love the different blends where they meet. Let's try to switch it up yet again, this time using Tropical Punch for the first branch layer for something a little different. I used Saltwater Taffy for my second layer, Rose Water for the third layer, and finished with Avocado. Here's another side-by-side comparison with the first 2 stenciled pieces. Isn't it quite amazing how different they all look? The next time I use layering stencils, I'm definitely going to rotate all the colors in one go, so I have multiple options when it comes to my final card designs. With the foilet patterns, the panels are already cut down to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, so I just have to line up the images with the openings in the stencils themselves. This was super quick and easy, and I quickly used the stencils, this time in the exact same order as my very first panel. Next, I'm going to die cut the 3 other panels and start assembling my cards. I love frames, and I love wreaths and laurels, so this kit is pretty much perfection when it comes to everything I love. I start by layering Tropical Punch, Avocado, and Glitter Gold frames. I tried various color options, as well as different colored backgrounds, and finally settled on a Saltwater Taffy panel. After cutting that down to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, I placed it in my mini Misty stamping tool and chose the birthday sentiment from the scripted sentiments. I used a design ruler to help me center it on the panel and stamped it twice using Oreo ink. When that was done, I used a tape runner to attach it to a sugar cube card base and used the fine nozzle of my Barely Art glue to adhere the frames to the card. In between frames, I used a couple of large acrylic blocks to apply pressure to the frames while they dried. Then I used foam squares to pop up the eucalyptus leaves, and my first card is done. My second card features an avocado panel which I added texture to using 2 of the diagonal stitch rectangle stacklets. I wanted a bit of extra detail behind the gemstone frames, and I've said before that I'll take any excuse to use these dies, so here we are. Next, I chose 2 rosewater frames and 1 glitter gold frame. For this card, I chose to heat emboss the sentiment in white, so I stamped it with Versamark watermark ink and heat embossed it with white embossing powder. Normally, I wouldn't suggest doing this after gluing the frames on, but originally I was going to stamp the sentiment in Oreo and changed my mind at the last minute. Since the panel was darker and this set of eucalyptus plus the frames heavily feature rosewater, I wanted to keep it light, so I switched to heat embossing. I used a lot of anti-static powder to make sure none of it would stick around the edges of the frames. I attached the panel to a sugar cube card base and popped on the eucalyptus with foam squares. To finish, I embellished the card with a few gold drip drops, and now my second card is done. Moving on to the third card, I stamped the thank you sentiment in Oreo ink and cut off a 1/4 inch from the right side of the panel, which will go on a tropical punch background. I cut off the 1/4 inch so I could add a strip of glitter gold cardstock on the left side. I used my grid mat to line up the panel and applied a strip of score tape to the back edge where I attached the gold cardstock. I trimmed off the overhanging section and used a tape runner to attach both the tropical punch panel and the top panel to the card. Now all my cards are done. I really love how quick and easy these cards were to make, and when I say quick, I mean about an hour less than usual, and that's a lot of saved time for me. These cards would make a great gift set, and while simple, they each pack a lot of punch, especially with the gold bits. I do still have 1 extra set of stenciled eucalyptus, so I could throw that into the set as well. I hope you enjoyed all the ideas presented in this video on how to use the modern eucalyptus card making kit. You can find all of these products in the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.